Welcome to Professionalism in the Virtual World, Part 1, Module 9. In this lesson, you will learn virtual vocabulary, about professionalism, and 5 tips for appropriateness while video conferencing. First, we'll look at some virtual vocabulary to make sure words like teleconference, webinar, and appropriate are clearly defined and the social expectations are understood. Teleconference is a generic word for a live meeting between 2 or more people who are joined virtually by their electronic devices. Once upon a time, teleconferencing was only an audio meeting involving no more than speaking and listening to each other. There are still some teleconference calls that are only audio meetings. However, current technology allows teleconferencing to be both audio and visual. So now, participants are able to hear and see each other. A webinar is an online workshop delivered over the internet. Webinars use mainly one-way communication, with hosts and panelists speaking and presenting their screens while participants watch and listen. Sometimes the presentation they're showing on screen has actually been pre-recorded. Usually, microphones are automatically muted for anyone joining a webinar. Although you may type comments and questions into the chat, typically only the host or moderator can see what you type. Sometimes, though, hosts will actually encourage group interaction within the chat. Often, the participants' videos are automatically turned off by the host for less distractions. During this type of webinar, it's also common for the list of participant names to not even show up on the screen. Virtual meetings, including online interviews, are happening more and more these days. You can expect to receive invitations to meet online from career counselors, caseworkers, teachers, and employers. There are many different video conferencing platforms available for both personal and professional use. Some of the current ways to meet virtually include Zoom, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, and Skype. Although there are differences between each of these platforms, often the way you'll join the meeting is by clicking on a link in the invitation that was emailed to you. Be sure to save the original email and have it opened on your device before the meeting's start time. Professionalism has to do with the way someone looks, speaks, and acts, especially while on the job. One way to understand professionalism better is to realize a professional is the opposite of an amateur. Let's think of sports as an example. An amateur basketball player can range from someone who can barely play the sport all the way up to a highly skilled athlete. Once an amateur athlete has turned pro, they are being paid to do what they love. Now, as a pro athlete, the team's owners, coaches, and fans expect certain things from them. They're expected to play at a professional level or face being traded or cut. And since they represent the team, both on and off the court, they're also expected to show good sportsmanship and make appropriate choices. If they don't, they're being unprofessional. And we can all think of certain pro ball players who have acted unprofessionally. In a similar way, our society also has certain expectations of professionalism during a virtual meeting. To come across professionally, make sure you have a positive attitude and smile. Be polite and respectful to everyone. Show your skills instead of hiding what you know. Act responsibly by being prepared and on time. communicate your thoughts well, and demonstrate good judgment in what you say and how you respond to others. Here are 5 tips for things you should do and things you should avoid doing while video conferencing. Follow these standards of appropriateness to show professionalism and so that you will be taken seriously. Choose a quiet space. Before joining a virtual meeting, choose the best quiet space available, away from any background noises like TV, music, or an open window. If there are others around you, let them know you need some quiet to participate in a meeting. If it's loud in your background, it will be hard for anyone to understand the person speaking. You may want to use headphones. Also, plan to stay muted until it's appropriate to talk. Really, the only time to stay unmuted is to participate in a group discussion. Otherwise, just stay muted until it's your turn to speak. Choose a plain background. Sit or stand with a plain wall behind you, or blur your background. Choosing a simple virtual background is okay too. Don't use a video virtual background, a GIF, or filters. Again, you don't want to be the one distracting others in the meeting. Be camera ready. Plan to join with your video on because it's polite to let others see you. At least keep it on for the introductions. Carefully position your camera so that your whole face can be seen. As for what to wear, you don't have to dress up, but do get up and get fully dressed. Keep in mind, if you don't look presentable during this meeting, you won't be taken seriously. Make sure to have lighting in front of you instead of behind you, and avoid sitting near a window or in the shadows because others won't be able to see you well. Join on time. Set an alarm for 10 minutes before the meeting is to begin. This will remind you to get situated with your device, paper, pen, water bottle, or whatever materials you need for the meeting. Make sure to click the link to join the meeting before the start time. If you wait until the start time to try joining, you might already be late and miss some important information from the meeting. Stay connected. Participate in expected behaviors like saying hello and goodbye, looking at the screen, asking questions, and adding to the discussion when it's your turn. If you don't do these things, others might think that you're being rude on purpose or think that you can't hear them or see them. Keep the information from this module in mind the next time you're asked to join a virtual meeting. And remember, showing is always more powerful than telling. So follow the tips and let them see how amazing you can be. Now that you have completed Module 9, please complete the recommended follow-up activity with your YES Career Counselor.